and the words speak for themselves. No contract, no consent. As the original sovereign tribal people, we're not subject to the native title process. We were, matter of fact, considered in the legal fraternity by Justice Reeves, the judge that heard that presided over our federal court cases, as some kind of subgroup or some kind of people independent that didn't have the social license to oppose mining in their country. Given the fact that the Wangan and Jagalingou Family Council was an unrepresentative and still an unrepresentative body that can speak for their country, aside from that native title process. So the Adani matter is merely a lightning rod for a wider set of issues and the immediate threat to our long-term goals. The goal in that sense is land rights. It's always been land rights. And I, along with other members of our community and our council, we have raised up other young leaders in our tribal council, and we're fashioned by the land rights movement. And our stand is to defend our country, protect our land at all costs. And so that our campaign requires an extraordinary effort and a level of capacity and support necessary to underpin this campaign. It requires a discipline of strategic planning, communications, and community organising and political management. It requires a group with a mandate, the strength to carry it through, and the ability to manage that complexity. So we stand on our moral code. It's a moral code that all Aboriginal people know. People just see Aboriginal people as some group of people that need to be studied and need to be understood. But we have a true moral and ethical standing in our law and custom. And so we as people all know intrinsically what is just. We know what's right and wrong. And even though we've gone out into the public and we've gone into the courts, we've gone into the Parliament House, we've always maintained the truth and justice and the integrity of what we're saying, that we are protecting our country for our future generations, for the support of our people and the land that sustains us. Without land, we don't have a future. Without land, we'll be decimated and we'll become extinct. So, how we manage this, how we manage this process over the past 5 years is having our own autonomy. Our self-determination as a tribal council, independent from the native title process and influence from government policies, we can stand proud, and our leaders can be inspired by that principle of us having self-determination. Sure, we know that campaigning like something like what we're doing now against mining in central Queensland, of all places, is a surmountable task. And not too many people want to take up that task. And so many people are afraid of being beaten and trodden down by the system or the government. And the process that's been set up, to dispossess our people. And we found that without a campaign like we have, without the drive that we have and the chances to achieve justice, this whole thing cannot be sustainable unless we maintain our own self-determination, our decision-making processes. That there isn't anybody else that can tell us about the land, the totems, the stories, the songline, the dreaming, the moiety. This is the history of our people from that land that future generations in the world will at some point want to know about. And if we become extinct, you all would have lost a part of cultural heritage of this nation that is unique to that Western Central Queensland. That's me saying that. So we have a disciplined leadership and management, and this campaign works. We have the idea that we're right in what we're saying. And that might not be enough for people, but our campaign is very complex. The organisational, strategic requirements, especially when those who oppose us are great major power brokers and resource billionaires and corporations and governments who are attacking us. We're still willing to take on these goals, to challenge their power and their money and the might that they wield and the power that they use to undermine what we're saying. So this is not a debate or an argument. This is a real-life battle, a struggle with profound consequences for First Nation and our country. The ruthlessness of our opponents and the scale of their apparatus of oppression and control and the rigid game of politics and the courts make this a high-stake undertaking. And lots of people are being harmed through this process. And lots of every single member of the council and our 100 members, the council that represents 100 people, we all are suffering from the intergenerational trauma of not only just being separated from country by gunpoint, being ostracised and placed into mission stations that would put the concentration camps to shame. The atrocities that happened on those reserves are things that are a constant reminder for us, which gives us the drive to seek justice and truth. And while that is still remnant and still resides in the hearts of our families, we continue to struggle and we'll continue to fight for the protection of our land and our stories. So our leadership requires a lot of trust, and it's critical to running the campaign that we've been running solidly for the past 5 years, running those court cases and the highly skilled management that is behind our council. A lot of people are aware of what's been happening between the Adani Carmichael mine and the opposing Wangan and Jagalingou Family Council, but a lot of people out there don't understand that. They have this concept that there's majority rules. If majority rules, then then our voice is never going to be heard. And it's fundamental, inalienable human right, to believe in something that essentially is your right to your identity, who you are, and your connection to the land. So the caliber of skills that is required for something on this scale, and the politics and the law and the communications, and the development and the community organising and the fundraising, academia and the finances that go into something like a campaign like this is enormous. And the amount of people that are involved, the amount of people that support us is growing from 100,000 to 150,000 to 200,000 worldwide. And although it's a land rights fight, it's not too dissimilar from the climate change question and how that's affecting the ecology, you know, and you know how the world is progressing forward, you know, in a world where there's, you know, too much extractive industry. But anyway, the skill team that we have that's building this power is a core team of people. We keep the campaign on track. We respond to all the challenges that arise and maintain a long-range strategy. And we operate knowing this, that there is no short, easy path to our goals. The core team must be highly skilled in campaigning and organising and being completely committed to enacting the mandate of the council. There can be no pragmatic compromise of this organising principle, and success or failure falls outside of whether the campaign builds its power and resources according to First Nations core values and political purposes. The point of reference must always be that our nation's self-determining position is the ultimate goal for us. And every government and every institution and every resource council, mining magnate or whatever, that seeks to undermine our self-determination is violating our human rights. We should be all concerned about that. But the ability to operate and navigate in a world of Aboriginal politics and to mandate that with the institutions of the settled society requires great understanding, because it's very enormous and complex. And I know that there are a lot of brothers and sisters and other tribal people in this nation that have tried to take their argument forward, and a lot of our leaders have, they're gone past on now, and we haven't seen this happen. But personally, from how I feel about it, we have to build our own political power and our alliances, in the context of our historical dispossession. Because while we're still mindful of our dispossession, we don't have a political representation in this government, because there's a question of restitution. There's the real question of compensation. But how can we compensate, the loss of our spirituality? Who measures that? Who measures the compensation for the loss of our totem trees and our totemic beings and the animals? Who puts a value on that? And when at some point a prime minister or a government is ever going to consider the past injustices and not just say, we're sorry, but go further in respecting our self-determined, self-government protocols and how we deal with ourselves, and let us be responsible for the future of our land and the protection of our culture. So the approach of the Wangan and Jagalingou campaign can be referred to simply as a story-based strategy. By telling the W&J story in its own voice, our communication is authentic and culturally managed through all the different layers of our campaigning. We have managed to communicate to the world our perspective on what's necessary to defend our country through our culture. And our long-term goals are, to make this country do something about recognising international laws to protect our rights, even if it's in the form of using an UNDRIP or allowing us some way without dividing our people a voice. But we have to continue to survive. The only way to survive in this country, this Commonwealth country, is to resist. And we're resisting for change. That's our purpose, and that's what our council stands for as a First Nations people and our rights. Yeah. And we continue to demonstrate this through our cultural events, symposia, grassroots activism, and by allowing people to come to our country and learn about the uniqueness of our land. So, our supporter base and building our constituency, people have to be conditioned to the long draw of the struggle in the realm of Aboriginal rights. And I can't keep emphasising that enough, that W&J's case is that case that overlaps with the Adani mine and the fact that large numbers of Australians oppose it and they want it stopped. The plus is that many people who oppose it also support First Nations rights and they will join forces with us, and we welcome them. The miners can be, the support for our rights is not extended unconditionally and may therefore evaporate when the common goal is no longer at issue, win, lose or draw. And we run the risk because we do have many people coming to us, nationally, internationally, asking us, what's the next step? You know, you've been through 5 court cases, you know, you've lost all those court cases, you've been put into bankruptcy, you know, you have restraining orders, Supreme Court's restraining orders against you for going on in the country. You know, what's your next step? Well, the next step will have to be resistance, as it's always been. We'll wake up, we'll resist that power, and we'll call upon people to stand with us, to resist. But it'll be our walk, it'll be our path, and it'll be under our terms. So, there is an opportunity here to convert and to grow our supporter base into a constituency in Australia and internationally who back the long-term fight for Aboriginal rights and who are prepared to work and make the changes in themselves and in their dominant institutions to support that struggle. There is a threat that support is contingent and that the land rights are merely a campaign advantage for other people's environment and climate campaigners, and our strategies get diluted. Our story is then misunderstood, and then it becomes an association with some other movement. This is something that we feel that is a very dangerous ground. So we have to define those lines. But this is a balancing act that can be handled if the campaign maintains its central organising principles and at the full autonomy of the council that has the benefit of allowing us to concentrate our resources on what's more important and attracting in those who are drawn to the purpose that we demonstrate. Whatever. Based on the No Means No campaign, which has been consistent and the central message of the story that's been told since the campaign kicked off in March 2015, we will always work on building the resources required for this to continue. In campaign without independent wealth, in fact, and in like W&J's case, with very, very few resources due to economic inequities, and people who are willing to give money are essential to this campaign. And this is why we have so many people who are compassionate about what we stand for. They don't completely understand our fight, but they know that by standing with us, they know they can protect the Galilee Basin and the natural springs, the Carmichael River, and so on. So, I know I only got a short bit of time, and I'll try to just explain a little bit about how we campaign and how it's been effective to date. Some people may think that, our court cases, all came to naught, and that it's diminished by, the oppressive, society of settlers and their law. But, we managed to bring attention to our struggle. And that's the main point here. That if we're going to stand and be self-determined, we want people to know that we have to fight for it. And that's what we're doing. We're fighting for it. And as I mentioned before, I represent not only 22 people on the tribal council, I represent 100 other family members. And there has to be a future for them. Not in coal mining, not in extractive industries and fossil fuels, and the destruction of our country for, measly jobs or, measly, cash incentives. The reality is that we lose all if we lose our land. And so it's our campaign, and we believe that we're successful in what we've campaigned for. And regardless of what the media or, the legal system, would have people think. But we don't want any coal mining in our country. And it's up to us to continue to keep resisting. And as you'll find that everything that we express to the world is that we will continue to resist. If you stand with us, it's a lot better if people are pushing from behind than pushing from the front. So we will be on the front line and we will lead that fight, because we believe that the Galilee Basin is a sacred land. Not because someone named it the Galilee Basin, but because when you go there, you feel the presence of the old people, the ancestors. They're there in the land. It's a special place. And those people that signed the Uluru, and they stood with Adani, and they sat in the court with Adani, those people have never been to the springs. I asked them, hey brother, have you been to the Dumabul Springs? Nah, we was on the outside. We was just out on the road. Brother, you're not going to know that. They turn a blind eye to our reality. They ignore our existence, and they decimate and destroy our belief system. This is, we're in a state of undeclared war in this country. And when they send the cops out there to go and dig up our corroboree ground and take down our flag, that'll be them attacking us. These are the principles that we stand on. And we're peaceful people. But our resistance is strong, even if our goals for change aren't yet reached. We're going to keep fighting. So that's the word from the Wangan and Jagalingou Family Council. And I'd like to leave you with a little short video. And thank you for allowing me to come and speak here. And I hope you gathered something from that. But thank you very much.
Adani has secured a legal ruling that exposes two traditional owners to possible jail time if they visit a ceremonial camp on the company's Queensland mine site.
We're not here for any other purpose but to come and visit country and to check on our property ground and our flag to see that it hasn't been tampered with. My son and I have been under complete surveillance by private investigators and security people trying to prohibit us and the family council from getting any access to our country.
Am I free to leave?
Yep. I've just got to relay a message.
Because I tried to shake your hand, not many people don't shake hands, so you didn't want to shake hands.
Adani has sought an injunction from the Supreme Court to prevent us from coming back out, is essentially making us trespassers on our own country. Thanks, Tony. Thank you. Thanks very much. So the first campaign was no means no. So our second campaign will be standing our ground, and so yeah, we're gaining more momentum. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoy that. It's all right.